Hi everyone, I'm Melissa and I'm a third year cognitive science and computer science major. So I chose the Human-Centered Design course there because I've always been interested in how we as developers, researchers, and artists can design for specific user groups, especially for people who have cognitive impairments. So the course Starts program really gave me the opportunity to take classes in different fields and meet people who approach design in a different and really exciting ways. So for my presentation, I'll first go over what I learned human-centered design to be, and then I'll go over the 3 courses that I took for the course Start, and then lastly, some takeaways and lessons learned. So first of all, what is human-centered design? Through my coursework, I really learned that user-centered design is really a sort of never-ending process of identifying your target user group, so the people that you're designing for, understanding their needs and frustrations, as well as iterating through sessions of brainstorming, prototyping, testing, and developing. For my 3 courses for the HCD course Start, I took Cog Sci 1, which is Intro to Cognitive Science, CS 160, which is User Interface Design and Development, and Info 214, Usability and Needs Assessment. So cognitive science is the study of how our brains process information. So perception, language, reasoning, and emotion. In Cog Sci 1, I was introduced to this thing called brain-machine interfaces, which is using technology to help people with cognitive disorders perform tasks that they normally wouldn't be able to do. So this man here in the pictures, he has Lou Gehrig's disease, which is a neurodegenerative disorder, which damages the motor neurons in your brain. So he's completely paralyzed throughout his body. He can't even talk, his mouth is paralyzed, so he hasn't been able to communicate with the outside world for many, many years. And with the development of brain-machine interfaces, he's able to wear an EEG cap on his scalp, which picks up your brain signals, and he can actually type just by thinking the letters that he wants to show up on the screen. So for the first time in many years, this technology has allowed him to communicate with his loved ones, even though he hasn't been able to. So I realized that being able to design something as incredible as this, I really needed a technical background as well as expertise in human-centered design theories. So learning about that technology really led me to pursue a second major in computer science. So CS 160 on user interface design and development was my first introduction to human-centered design. So not only did we learn about the various human-centered design methods like storyboarding and creating prototypes, but we also learned how to write technical specs, set deadlines for a project, and we were actually able to implement all our design ideas in software. So for our semester-long project, my group developed an Android mobile application to help competitive poker players to keep track of their playing scores. So it's really fun because for our project, we got to stage an actual poker tournament to realize what people did before, during, and after they'd be using our app. So that was a method called contextual inquiry that we learned about. So being able to see how our users interacted with these prototypes really allowed us to make relatively quick design changes before writing code. So in the end, it was really an investment to our project to implement all these human design methods. So as a designer, it's really important to be aware of any technical limitations, possible failures, or time constraints that a project can have. This is especially important when you're designing for patients who become dependent on your product to help them carry out everyday tasks. For my 3rd course, I took Info 214, which is Needs and Usability Assessment. So the last piece of this puzzle was really learning how to gather data and synthesize all my findings from applying these design methods. And in Info 214, we really covered all of that. This course is about user experience research, so going more into depth about the methods that we learned in CS 160 to get a really qualitative assessment of user sentiments about a product. And for a class project, my group acted as design consultants for a social media company, and we learned how to really identify the target user group, design a usability study protocol, transcribe interviews, and make suggestions for improvement, as well as present our findings to the stakeholders. So this brings me back to my main topic, which is when designing for people with cognitive disorders, it's really important to understand the needs of the user group, identify which tasks that they need to perform, and figure out which methods are best fit for testing. So some of the lessons learned. So through this course thread program, I really learned how to approach human-centered design from a really broad perspective, so from the developer's point of view, from the researcher's point of view. And one of my favorite quotes from CogSci 1 was, "Technology is meaningless unless it's meaningful to you." So I took this to mean that the creation of technology is not as meaningful unless you're really passionate about what you're making. And for me, after learning about people with cognitive disorders, whether it be anxiety, depression, or dementia, I'm really interested in how we as designers can create technical solutions for these people. So some of the takeaways from this course thread. I was really eager to find areas on campus with the same focus as me. So I got involved in research at the Berkeley Institute of Design, working with Professor John Canny's team to develop mobile technology for people with mental health problems. And additionally, I saw the importance of interdisciplinary design. So bringing together students from all sorts of fields in mechanical engineering, anthropology, and other backgrounds to get a really wide perspective on a similar problem. And ultimately, this inspired me to teach a course next semester, which will be open to any student interested in creating a positive effect on a person's health through design. And we're going to be bringing in lecturers from a lot of different fields, so psychology, public health, bioengineering, to give students a really broad perspective on designing for mental disorders. And most importantly, through meeting people through these course thread classes, I really was able to find my niche on campus. So I became involved in Berkeley Innovation, which is the product design group on campus, which brings together a lot of different students from different fields. And the only requirement is that you have to be passionate about human-centered design. Secondly, I really realized that applications of human-centered design is something I really want to do in the future. And I'm really happy to have found really amazing people through this course thread and resources here at Berkeley to pursue it.